Hey, what's going on? It's Shiny, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 reasons why you might be feeling a little bit stuck. But before we get into it, if you could do me a little favour and tickle that like button and flying headbutt that subscribe button, you'd be doing me a massive favour with the YouTube algorithm, and it would mean a lot. Thank you. So, if you're anything like me, then you've probably had regular thoughts of, what am I doing? Where am I supposed to be? Who am I supposed to be? What is expected of me? What the fuck am I doing here? I have probably spent the last maybe like 6-7 years of my life basically just punishing myself. Just constantly being dissatisfied with where I'm at, no matter how well I'm actually doing. Because unfortunately for us, there's always more, no matter what you're doing. If you're a bodybuilder, you could always be bigger. If you are, a lawyer, there could always be a bigger case. If you're an artist, you could always do better art. But my point is, there is no end to anything. So I think a huge part of why people punish themselves is because they're not grateful for where they're at. People really get lost in tomorrow and the day after that, instead of just looking at what's there in the moment and thinking, do you know what? I drive quite a nice car. I live in a cool little apartment with someone I love very much, and I get to put my head on a pillow every night. There are many, many things to be grateful for, and because everybody's so stressed and so anxious about tomorrow and their future, and you're kind of missing what's in front of you right now. And I've been doing that for quite a long time. I've punished myself pretty hard over the last few years, and it got me thinking, like, why? Why am I doing that? Why do I insist on beating myself up and putting myself down on the basis of what? Where does that come from? I honestly think about 80% of people probably do it, and it's poisonous. It's a really difficult thing to go through, and I feel like with the internet being so powerful right now, it starts at a younger age, and there's children, kids as young as like 10 and 11 years old being diagnosed with depression now, which is another topic. So what do I mean when I say that it's a different time to be living in? I think a lot of the people that we look up to, they grew up in a completely different era. A lot of your parents, they come from like trades families or miners, or, obviously there are still people out there, lawyers, that job won't have changed too much, I imagine. Law is law, I guess. But I just mean, think about the times what your parents grew up in and what their parents grew up in, where, women really were expected to be in the kitchen and not speak in certain situations, which is crazy to think about in 2021, right? We've grown up with the internet. The internet has changed everything. We've now got access to pretty much any information that we could possibly need at the click of a finger. So people are a lot more aware of like different cultures or different industries, or they're being influenced by different people. It's a completely different time. Equality is alright. It's still got a long way to go, but it's a lot closer to where it should be than it ever has been. Situations are different. It's a completely different world to be in. So thinking that your dad or your granddad or nan, mum, anyone that you look up to or compare yourself to, they might have bought a house younger, they might have had children younger, they might have got married a little bit younger. It doesn't matter. It's a different time to be alive. You gotta do what's right for you. If you're still figuring out who you are and you don't know what it is that's gonna make you ultimately happy, why would you tie yourself to these kind of things? Don't think that you should be doing anything that your parents did. Don't compare yourself to them. They're different people. They've found potentially what makes them happy, but that might not be right for you, which kind of brings me on to my next topic, which is you might not know who you are yet. I personally am still very much on a journey of self-discovery, without sounding too cheesy. It's something that I'm starting to put active thought and time into, because I feel like every time I take a new path in life, I'm still not feeling how I think I should feel. But again, that's the weirdest thing about existence. Nobody really knows how you're supposed to feel. Existence is a very strange thing, and I don't think anybody truly knows how you are supposed to feel, ever. What love is for one person might be completely different for another person. What they physically feel within themselves and they spend time with a certain person might be different for another couple that are completely happy. You just don't know. And this is something that fascinated me a lot recently, and is another reason I've started making YouTube content again, because I'm trying to figure out who I am. What is going to make me ultimately happy? What in my dream life and my dream scenario could I be doing in 5 years time that would make me truly happy? For those of you who don't know me, I thrive off people. I love people. You know, I've always worked in sales, I've worked in people management. I'm very good at building relationships with people. And a big part of me doing that is I'm always trying to make people laugh, and I like to teach, and I like to share knowledge and have conversation. And YouTube is the perfect place for me to be my true self and do what I enjoy doing, which is connecting with other people. So I'm hoping to build like a little community of people and, you know, make videos that I know you want to see. And I think that's going to bring me value. And I think this is me learning who I am. I've gone on a bit of a tangent here, but what I'm saying is take some time to figure out who you are and figure out what it is that's going to make you happy, instead of just worrying that you're not where you're supposed to be. First step to catching up to where you think you should be, or getting yourself on a path of productivity where you are feeling comfortable and happy in yourself again and not worrying so much, is find out what brings you happiness and do it more. And if you don't know what it is that brings you happiness, then go and try some new things. You know, go on Groupon or Voucher and see some like last minute things. Me and my girlfriend have been together like a year this coming Thursday, and we were looking for something to do. So instead of racking our brains and just going through the same shit that you always think about, it's actually quite fun to go on Groupon and just see what is out there. Like, we're close to going for an afternoon tea with alpacas. We're also looking at going kayaking, something we've spoken about briefly. We never really thought, oh, let's allocate a weekend to go and doing it, because I think everybody does this. Everybody talks about doing things and never actually materializes. How many times have you bumped into a friend somewhere or text a friend for the first time in a while and they've said, dude, it's been so long, let's go for a pint, let's go for food, let's go and do this. And you're like, yeah, no problem. And then that's the end of conversation and you don't speak to them again for another 2 months. How many times have you done it? So go out there, go into the world, go meet new people, go and try new things. Like, and something will resonate with you. I don't know what it is that makes people love certain things, but maybe you've just not found the thing for you just yet. So don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just focus on a few things right now. Focus on staying healthy, drink enough water, start meditating if you feel like your brain is constantly bouncing out of place, which mine definitely does. And just try some new things. The worst thing you can do is just sit and think yourself into a bad place mentally. I've been there, I've done it, and it's shit. The anxiety associated to things that might never actually happen is crazy. I bet 90% of the things that we worry about never really come into fruition. Yet we sit there and we don't go out and do things, and we don't spend that money on this, or we don't go and see that friend, or we don't leave the house, or whatever it is that we stop ourselves doing is based on the worry or panic of something that never actually happens. Is crazy. Social media is an amazing thing. It's great, you know, used for the right things and building a brand and, you know, staying in touch with friends and relatives and seeing what your best friend's doing in the moment in Australia on a Facebook Live. It's incredible. But it's also a very poisonous thing, because a lot of what you see on social media isn't a true reflection of what people are going through. You know, you get these like Instagram people that are constantly taking like the perfect picture in the perfect place. A lot of them, you know, they're taken in the same weekend and they use the stock photos for the next like 3 months. You know, what they're not showing you is, you know, when they have a couple of bad days where they've eaten a couple of McDonald's and they're feeling a bit bloated and they've got a couple of spots because they've not been getting the right rest or drinking the right water, or, you know, these people do have shit days too, and I promise you that. And I imagine a lot of these people still have these problems where they wake up in the morning and think, I'm not where I should be. I feel like I should be further on. I feel like I should be in a better financial position. Maybe I should be settled down with a kid. You know, they all go through it. But unfortunately for us, we can't really escape social media. I mean, you can delete all the apps off your phone, go back to living in the olden days where you literally use a mobile phone for a text message or a phone call. You could do that if you wanted to, and it would probably help, to be honest. But most people aren't going to do that. So again, in terms of comparing yourself to other people, social media is not the place to do it. I don't know about you, but I don't post a selfie on Instagram of a Sunday morning when I'm just sat feeling like shit, worrying about things, you know, anxiety-riddled human being worrying about tomorrow. I just post on there things that I have enjoyed doing. Recently I went to the Lake District with my girlfriend, took some pretty cool photos. Post that. Again, I look happy, I like I'm having the best time of my life. You know, that's not to say that I wasn't going through some shit at that time. You don't know what's going on. And it's the same with every single person that you see. They might have just lost a relative, but they just want to seem happy online. I don't know, they might be in a really shit financial position. Maybe they've got debt looming and that's really playing on their mind, but you would never ever know that. So again, don't compare yourself to those people. So my next point is something that I think everyone needs to remember from time to time, but this is your story. This is nobody else's story. people telling you that you have to follow a certain path is bullshit. You know, you're only here on this planet once, well, from what we know of, right? So just because you've not achieved a certain thing by a certain age, it means nothing in terms of like educating yourself or getting a qualification or passing your driving test. There's no rules, there's no laws on when you should have that done by. If you don't do that till you're 45 or 50, then so what? Good for you for doing it at 45 or 50. But in the same respect, like, don't let the fact that you haven't done something now at 30, at 35 or 40 put you off doing it altogether. If, like, I'm 28 now, and I often think, oh, you know, I wish I'd have gone to university and got a degree. What's stopping me? There's nothing stopping me. I could go there tomorrow and say, look, I want to know what courses you've got going on. These are things I'm interested in. How do I get onto this course? And I could start planning my way into this course to get a new qualification. I could have a master's degree in 5 years and my entire skill set and knowledge base within this thing here could be totally different. I could have a different career. I could live in a different country. Everything could be different. In 5 years, that's nothing. Don't beat yourself up about things that you've not achieved yet. You know, think about things that you would like to achieve and then aim for it. Do it now. Start tomorrow. Write your first blog post tonight. Start your first fitness journey, you know, go on your first run tomorrow. Text them old friends that you've been meaning to reach out to for the last 6 months but never got around to. Make that change now or in a week. Do it when's right for you. This is your story and nobody else really matters. Don't let their opinions change what you do. Don't let society's norms, you know, change what you do. You know, be true to yourself. Figure out what it is you want to do and go for it. Look, you can't change the past. The past is never going to be different. You know, what you've done up until now, it's just history. That's all it is. You can make a change tomorrow. You can make a change in a week. You could be a totally different person in 1 year's time. So if it's your story, you know, like I said, figure out who you are, go out, try new things, and make plans. This story can pretty much end however you want it to end. You know, if you want to live a quiet life, playing video games, earning just enough to get by, and having a happy relationship, or even just being on your own, if that makes you happy, that's fine. It's your story. Do what you want to do. What does that final chapter look like for you? Is it relaxing, living in a log cabin in the middle of the woods somewhere, being disconnected from everybody else? If that's going to bring you happiness, that's fine. That's your story. You do that. Do you want to run a business? Do you want to earn over £1 million a year? What would that look like? This sort of takes me on to like another topic. I said 5. This is going to be 6. God damn. So going into that a little bit further, what I was going to say was figure out what it is that's going to make you happy and what it is that you want to do. So when I say I manifest, I've got a document on my laptop that literally describes what my dream home would look like, to the point of I know what the hallways are going to look like, I know what the rooms are going to look like, I know what 3 different breeds of dog I'm going to have, I know what their names are going to be, I've thought about what cars we're going to have. And when you get to that point, you can then sort of look into it, you know, find things that fit within that category and figure out what your outgoings per month would be, which is what I've done. Because once you've got that figure, you can figure out, all right, so to have that life that I dream of, I need to earn this because my outgoings are going to be this. But now you've got a goal and you've got a number or a destination or whatever it is that's going to make you happy associated to that dream, you can now reverse engineer that to little micro points and you can take off. You can spread your wings and start going towards that dream. So if you start a candle business with the intention of making 300 grand a year, but you're only looking at the £40 a week that you're making at the moment and the end goal with nothing in between, it just seems like you stood at the bottom of Everest. You're never gonna do it. But if you figure out, all right, to be earning 300 grand a year, I need to sell this many. How do I do that? You can set yourself targets. So I know I need this many customers. How many of these customers are gonna be repeat business? How many of them are gonna be new customers? All right, so you've now got 2 avenues. To keep this amount of customers, how do I get to that number? All right, so I need to, you know, do a marketing campaign to get me closer to this amount of original customers that I can then nurture to be repeat business and blah, 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 blah. The point is, you make little milestones, little time frames of what you want to achieve and set yourself a little list of goals each day or each week so that you can tick them off. You can make little steps towards your goals, and once you start doing that, you'll feel so good about that. Like, you'll see the progress rather than just getting home and thinking, oh, should I work on my side business with no real goals, just the end goal. the chances are you're gonna fucking come in and put Friends on Netflix like everybody else does. And then you're gonna feel shit about it and beat yourself up about it because you haven't made any progress to what you know is gonna make you happy ultimately. Watching Friends is not gonna make you happy, is it? It's gonna be an escape from the anxiety and stress that you're going through on a day-to-day basis temporarily, but all it's doing really is just delaying that stress and anxiety. It's just gonna push it to the side, and then eventually when you're in a quiet room by yourself, it's gonna pop out from under the sofa like, ah! It's gonna come back, you know, but if you just make those little steps, if you wake up tomorrow and you say, right, so to start this candle business, I need to find myself 3 suppliers that I can reach out to and send them an email asking if they deal with e-commerce. Suddenly you've got 3 short tasks that'll take you like an hour and you can tick them off. So not only do you get a dopamine rush every time you tick something off a list, and that's a scientific fact, you're also making progress towards your actual dreams and what you actually want to do and what's going to bring you actual happiness. Think of the end plan, reverse engineer it into little achievable, measurable goals, and do a little bit every so often, or each Tuesday, or each day, whatever works for you in your life right now. Just start, make those lists and plan properly. Okay, I feel like I've chewed your ear off for long enough now. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, it really does help me. Send this video to someone you think might benefit from it, who needs a little bit of a pick me up, or someone that's beating themselves up about being stuck, and I'll see you in my next one. Thank you so much.